All right. Good morning. How's everybody doing this nice Monday morning? Welcome. I am here. My name is Dave, and I am here with Jake as well from Maker Pipe. What's up, Jake?
Hello, everybody. It's early. Got my coffee here.
Yeah, we have traded other beverages for coffee. So we're hitting it early this morning, kind of as we normally do. When we record Maker Pipe Monday. This has been our series for, how long has it been, Jake?
It was exactly 2 years ago, I think, like last Wednesday, I think.
Wow.
So a little over 2 years.
Yeah. So Monday mornings, we've made a habit, if you haven't joined us for this, but we've made a habit of checking out all the builds in the community and highlighting a handful of them. And it's one of the best parts of the week. We love seeing what you guys build and bring to the table. And if you haven't been to the community, this is a little preview. It's just a collection of builds that people post, showing it off. You can get some help there, ask some questions. We really love the community and the community members. And thanks as usual for everyone for posting their builds, their questions, their ideas. That's what it's all about, and we love that. And that, Maker Pipe Monday is like a culmination of that, where we just get to highlight some of those things and show them off. So normally we do that kind of just private, right? But we said, let's live stream it. Let's get some interaction. So we're hoping that you guys stop by. If you're in the chat, say hello, ask us the questions about these builds. And we're going to go probably a little bit more in depth on some of these builds since we're live. And then we're going to also kind of drop this video later on, edited in its normal form, if you'd like to check that out as well. But be sure to say hi in the chat. Definitely ask us some questions, and you'll kind of see our process. How's that sound, Jake?
I think it sounds great. I'm excited. It's definitely the best part of the week is Monday morning. So
yeah,
doing it live is even better. So I'm really excited. If you're drinking coffee, let us know if you're a morning coffee drinker. I think we've talked a lot about coffee on the channel, or on the other live streams. But if you're a morning coffee drinker, let us know.
For sure. Yeah. And I can't go without my cup of coffee. That's for sure. But it's got me hyped. So here we go. All right. Anything else to cover that you can think of, Jake?
I don't think so. I think that's everything. I'm excited to see the builds we have this week. We have, as always, we've had a lot of great ones posted this past week.
Yeah, for sure. Okay. All right. Well, here we go. I got the community queued up, and we're rolling, and we're live. So here we go. I'll start it off how I normally start it off. Good Monday, makers. Welcome back to another episode of Maker Pipe Monday. My name is Dave. I'm joined by Jake here as well. And we're going to be going over some of the community builds that have been posted to Maker Pipe community throughout the week. We've got some really great ones. We've got a Tacoma canopy cover. We've got a really good assistive pet build that'll warm your heart. Some stuff with mountain bike. We just got a lot of great builds that people put a lot of effort into. So let's get right into it. The first build we have is by Christopher. Jake posted it to the community. I think it came in by email. And he's got this really cool Toyota Tacoma, the coveted Toyota Tacoma. I mean, these things are, especially this vintage, seems like they're held in such high regard. And it's looking good. And what Christopher did was he added this roof rack. And we've seen a few roof racks over the years. This one is made out of 1-inch EMT conduit. And I can tell that these are Maker Pipe 1-inch connectors by the screw holes right there and being silver. So he's got that. And then the real trick thing is about his roof rack is this slide out awning. So you can see if I go back right here, this section, obviously you don't want to drive down the road like this, but that section slides out. And I imagine it's probably 3/4 inch conduit sleeved inside of 1-inch conduit, which isn't, it fits well, it moves well. It's a little bit shaky, but it's working out for Christopher, and it looks great. So I think he probably spray painted this because it's black. You can see that the build is in silver. Oh, that might be the spray can right there.
Well, I think it says Wasp and Hornet Killer. I think he might have
Oh,
been
really?
fighting. He might have been fighting while he was building.
All right. So mystery saw there. It does look like a wasp and hornet killer. Yeah. You never know when you get a nest inside of the cap. But really cool how he did this. He's got U-bolts, which is a good method for kind of attaching conduit to flat surfaces. And he's got these really neat, it looks like almost handles, but they bolt to the top of the cap. Got that structure, and then you can see the slide out section on your right. Really neat build from Christopher. Awesome. Thanks for sharing. We really appreciate checking that out. I think this is one of the first slide out awnings that we've seen. So thanks a lot, Christopher. Appreciate you sending that in.
Yeah, it's really cool. I can imagine how that would be useful for, camping. We have a lot of people in the community camp with their vehicles, and having a roof rack, I can imagine putting like solar panels on it. We actually have somebody in the chat asking a question about solar panels. But you have your solar panels on top, and then you get to your campsite and slide it out. It's a really cool way to do a camper rack / canopy.
Right. Yeah, when you're chilling at camp, that shade is crucial, right? And I've seen there's a lot of methods. I mean, you see those like automated ones that the RVs have. You have ones that you put up manually, but this is sweet because it just slides out, and you could easily add some reinforcements, add some fabric. I'm sure he's going to have some cover. You could use conduit. What do we call them? Cover clips?
Oh, yeah, the cover clips. Mm-hmm.
Cover clips that you could snap it on when you get to your destination. But that camp vibe is definitely important. Hang some lights by that. That'd be awesome.
Oh, yeah, that'd be sweet.
Some of the little like twinkly camp lights.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's really cool, especially, the whole point of it is to be compact. So the fact that it just slides all the way up in there, you wouldn't be none the wiser that it had a canopy in it. Is really cool.
Nice. So we've got a question. How much weight can the piping connectors hold? Looking to make a solar array, and each panel is about 50 pounds or more. Yeah. Great question. Endless Moment Gaming Channel. Thanks for stopping in. It's more than capable of handling and building a rack for your solar array. As you probably, think about, it's the weather and those kind of special circumstances that you really have to design for. Static weight of 50 pounds, even if you have a bunch of them, no problem. It's well within the capability of 3/4 inch conduit or 1 inch if you want to upgrade. But the thing you got to consider is definitely those wind moments, right? If you're going to have this thing in a permanent location, make sure that thing doesn't become a sail and take off on you. And I think you definitely could design that. I tell people it's all about how you design it, right? If you have just 2 connectors out there and 1 piece of pipe that's 10 foot long, there's not going to be much rigidity. But I think the beauty of it is you can reinforce it in ways that really makes it strong for not a lot of money. So keep that in mind. And if you want to throw a design by us, get our thoughts on it, definitely email us. Email me, David at MakerPipe. We'll check that out and help you any way we can.
You might check out we did a kind of a bin test of EMT conduit, where we basically built a simple structure and did some non-bracing and then simple bracing, and it was a few hundred pounds for 3/4 inch. So it really depends, I guess, how many panels you have and kind of how long it's going to be, that kind of thing. Those are some things to keep in mind.
Yeah. And like bracing conduit every so often is important. Another thing to keep in mind, too, is you can use other pipes. So we build our connectors for EMT conduit primarily, but I've done builds that I needed some more rigidity on a specific pipe. And if I'm using the 1 inch connectors with a shim, I can go and use 3/4 inch Schedule 40 black iron pipe, galvanized pipe, and that's super strong. That's a lot thicker of a wall thickness. It's expensive, it's heavy, but something to consider as well. And you can still fabricate it in the same way. So thanks for the question. Yeah, definitely do your research and lock them into the ground, do a footing, something like that.
We also have another question in the chat from Nancy. If you don't have a heat gun, is there another way to shrink the friction bands? I tried boiling water. I've actually never tried that. That's a good idea.
That is.
And a hair dryer, but neither of those had good results.
Right. Yeah. Thanks for the question, Nancy. The melting point of the bands and shrink wrap, I want to say it's like it's approaching 200 degrees Fahrenheit, right? So it's almost out of the range of a hair dryer. Some hair dryers can do it, but not great. I mean, tell your dirty secrets, Jake.
I was about to say this, and this is not advice because I know you're asking for advice. Before I give you bad advice, I'll give you good advice. I think heat gun is definitely the best way to go. I know you asked if you don't have one, but I think, Dave, if you look up on Harbor Freight, I think their Harbor Freight one is really inexpensive, and you can use a lighter, and the lighter will work. It will get hot enough, but it does take a long time. So if you have a really big build and you want to use a lighter, you can do it. It'll just take a long time. I think this heat gun is like under $10. I would definitely recommend it as an option. But as far as bad advice goes, when I was building my desk, I didn't have a heat gun, and I just wanted to finish. I had the pipes cut, everything. I just wanted to get it done, and it was late at night. I was building. I didn't want to run out and get a heat gun, so I preheated my oven. I don't remember what temperature. It was low, and then I basically laid half the pipe in the oven and let it bake in there until it shrunk. Then I pulled it out, switched sides. But again, not advice.
No.
Don't do that.
This is not advice. But that I remember you telling me about that, and
it did work.
Yeah,
but
right.
Worked, but just because you need that heat, that's the only reason it worked.
Yeah, I think I think a propane torch, one of those like canister style propane torches, in a pinch has worked. Propane stovetop again. These are like not things you should do, but check this out. Harbor Freight, and you can probably find these on Amazon. Less than $20, $16.99 for a heat gun, and pretty much any heat gun. You don't need something substantial is going to do the trick. So, Nancy, thanks for the question. If we can be of help, let us know. I don't know if that was helpful.
Yeah, I don't know. If you have a fireplace, maybe roast it.
These are not approved.
Yeah.
Okay. Thanks for the question. Moving on. All right. So, that was a sweet build by Christopher. Anything more to say about it, Jake?
I don't think so. I think the main thing I was interested in, was the sliding mechanism. But I think those brackets are really cool too. I'm curious if he custom fabricated those, or like you said, I didn't think about it, but there could be like grab handles or cabinet handles, something like that. But we always ask people or have people ask how to mount to a roof, and it's interesting to see all the different ways people come up with.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I like this. And this makes me think of kind of the crossover clamps, or just U-bolts in general, right? Like we have, and we've seen this on roof racks as well, where the crossover clamps right here. So these kind of employ if you will, a double U-bolt sort of design. And this is from the community. Actually came from a member that was building a roof rack and needed to attach to one of the existing roof rack pieces, right, and then transfer to Conduit. So that's where these came from, was the community.
Yeah, I think if you know of because in Toyota Tacoma off-roading, it's a pretty common thing people are using for that kind of stuff. So, if you're looking to do a vehicle rack, you might be able to find an existing roof rack mounting system and adapt that to Conduit with a crossover clamp or something like that.
Nice. Okay. All right. So we've got our next build. Our next build is by Zeke. Thanks for posting this, Zeke. What we've got here is a firewood rack. And what Zeke did was recently got a fireplace wood insert and wanted to create a way to store the firewood in the house. And we've done this before. I've seen a few of these, but check this out. This is the Fireplace Surround. that Zeke created in their house and did a great write-up. Appreciate that in the comments. Look, there's a wooden base and then a great use of the flanges. Here are 4 flanges at all 4 corners that Zeke did, and then just made a simple structure out of T-connectors, connecting and just to hold the wood in the sides. And you can see 4 flanges, 6 T's, and some conduit. Zeke even went and gave us a little list of materials. So it used 25 linear feet of 3/4-inch conduit, 4 flanges, some washer and deck screws, 6 T-connectors, plastic stoppers. If you didn't do a good job of deburring the 4 exposed conduit ends, those are a great idea. Spray painted it black, and then did a 3x1 base to account for the flanges, and then put hardwood, or Zeke put shiplap over it, and said preferably hardwood, but that can be challenging to find. So yeah, looks like an awesome build. And the great thing about conduit, it's metal. It's gonna stand up, and looks like a great addition to the living room.
Yeah, I think a vertical rack is a really good way to go for one of those. I was talking with my brother yesterday. I was helping him clean out his garage, and he had his ginormous firewood rack, but it's really wide and low. But I think going vertically is a great way to save space. So
yeah,
really cool.
Yeah, definitely. And so it holds 1/10 of a cord. Do you know what a cord of wood is?
I do not. Maybe we can look up and see according to Google.
I mean, I've used that term for a long time. Cord of wood.
Did you catch my pun?
Yeah, it was
Okay.
great.
Okay, just making sure. I gotta.
Okay, 4 foot high, 8 foot long, and then 4 foot deep. Oh, and that's a cord. There you go.
Nice.
You can visualize it. But yeah, so Zeke has some takeaways that I really appreciate. And here you go. Things Zeke learned while building this. Cutting conduit with a grinder wasn't too much fun. I hear you there. It can be hard wielding that. So we'll be getting the MakerPipe manual cutter to ensure the ends aren't sharp and impossible to deburr. That's a great way to go. We also like bandsaws. That's another really good way. Hacksaws, that takes a little bit longer, but powered bandsaws, portabands are good. And then spray paint scratches fairly easily. So it's not as practical for wood storing, and but it's nicer than silver. So Zeke likes silver. Check out, Jake did a little video on how to paint conduit.
Yeah, we tested several different methods for adhesion, doing like a scratch test. It was kind of cool, actually. Learned a lot about adhesion. You just basically scratch a grid on the pipe, and then you do some kind of test. I just used duct tape and then tried to rip it off, and you just see if it's easy. Of course, I guess adhesion is a little bit different than the scratching, because if it has good adhesion, then the paint will start to peel where it scratches. But
I guess a little bit different. Similar vein though. You found some different results as well, right? It was pretty different what you found.
Yeah, there were quite a few different things. I think the best result was just kind of roughing it up a little bit, and then just the spray paint and primer together, if I remember correctly. I need to freshen up on that. But yeah, we tested like alcohol to clean it, like rubbing alcohol, and then hand painting, and we tested different things. But I think once it got down to it, I think the easiest method was the best, which is always something you like.
Yeah, that's awesome. Can't beat that, right? And then finally, the last feedback is building with conduit is fun, right? Who knew? But I'm glad you're having fun, Zeke. Thanks so much for posting that to the community. Looks like a great firewood, and I hope you get lots of great fires in that stove and with the firewood rack. Looks like some good firewood there. So thanks so much, Zeke. Appreciate you posting that.
Looks like we have Mark in the chat and asked, has anyone had trouble getting the threaded inserts to stay seated in the pipes?
Yeah, I'll take this one. I think I have a few. particularly if it's off axis, right? I mean, you got to press these things in fairly perpendicular or parallel with the pipe. So I have some that have kind of bent off axis, sideways, and then all the little pieces, the spring steel, they have trouble catching. Have you had any trouble with these, Jake?
Not since we started using that tool, because I think, like you're saying, the main issue was once they get kind of off axis like that, they're because those stars expand in the pipe, and then so whenever the pressure is applied, they just dig farther and farther in. So they should, once you get them in, you can't reuse them. I mean, they practically should never come out, and we haven't tested like a huge amount of weight, but they should never really pull out. So ever since we started using that tool, there's a video on the channel, probably.
Did you do a blog about it?
4 or 5 months? I don't think so.
Okay, I've got Amazon pulled up.
It's oh yeah, nice.
Bike fork star nuts. Do you remember the sizes? Because that's important.
We had to shim it down. I think.
Right, but it looked exactly like this. I don't know if it was exactly this one.
It'll be in the link in our video if you want to pull that up.
Okay. Yeah, I'll go to the channel.
But we did use the pipe and tube adapter shim just to kind of, because it's made for bike forks. We didn't even realize that those star nuts are actually used for bike forks. I'm not entirely sure. I've never seen the inside of the bike fork, so I'm not sure how it works in there. But Dave,
I've become intimately experienced with bike forks and how those work. Yeah, so I've seen a few.
Mark said, "Thanks for taking my question. I'm sending an email with more detail on what I'm dealing with." Okay, great. Yeah, we'll definitely check that out and respond to you. But this tool definitely helps a lot. It's a little expensive, but definitely worth it. It makes it a lot easier. And you can also just thread a bolt into the insert and then hammer the top of the bolt. That also works really well.
Oh, here we go. Got it here. There it is. So, and we explained how to kind of set it. It's going to make life easier, and then brings up the Amazon link. Okay. Yeah, we were close. I think we had it. So $30 makes life so much easier, as Jake was explaining.
And then the black pipe and tube shim really helps as well, which is just...
Oh, to put it inside?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, just in that, I think that right piece, the barrel of that kind of goes... Yeah, there you go.
Right.
It's wiggling around, so...
Yeah, because the steering stem that those normally go into is a little bit wider.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, great question. That's some tips to avoid.
And we'll be on the lookout for your email as well.
Right on. Okay. And then we also had Nancy had another question. Do you anticipate offering half-inch EMT instead of using the shims? I struggle to get the shims on and off. Any tips? Thanks for the question. Yeah, that's something that we've thought about quite a bit. We've had such success with the shims. I think our go-to is improving the shims to make them easier to get on and off. And I know what you're saying. If you're trying to put it in the middle of a pipe, sometimes snapping it on and off can be difficult. So we're changing the dimensions of the shim a little bit and the material to really dial that in. So improved shims, I think, will help tremendously. One of the challenging things about making it smaller is just the economics of it, the economy of making a smaller connector. It doesn't really, it won't save a whole lot. So we could, but the pricing would be somewhat similar to the 3/4. So that's kind of one of the things that has held us back. But let us know if a dedicated line to half-inch is something that everyone's interested in and they want to do away with the shim. I'd like to hear your opinion on it. So I appreciate that.
Yeah, for sure. One thing that I found is if you're able to kind of bend the shim kind of out first, it makes it easier to snap. I've had some success by using pliers, basically closing the pliers completely, sticking them in the gap, and then kind of prying. That'll kind of open up the shim a little bit, and then give you the ability to snap them on easier. That's worked.
Yeah, and it's like when we started doing these shims, and we just cut them out of PEX tubing. We just had a slit, right? There wasn't any gap in it, and we've kind of see that gap there is just it expanding around the pipe. But what I've found is when you increase that gap, you have a bigger section. You can actually snap them on, and it doesn't really have any compromise to how well it holds. So that's just a little bit about what's coming down. But love to hear your feedback. Thanks, Nancy, so much, and want to hear whatever other people think about, 1/2 inch versus 3/4. All right, should we see another one?
I think so. I'm ready to see another one.
Okay. All right, this next build came to us on Instagram, and I've been into bikes lately, and this one is especially cool. Check this out. This is from Instagram and at Ali Judy, Atalee Judy, and check out this ultimate bike display. People are passionate about their 2-wheel devices, right? And this is no exception. And what they used is Alex created this large kind of display rack, including lights and shelving and all these things to show off the bad, what did they say, the poor choices of, I think it was, poor choices that they've made. I think they're good choices. They got a lot of comments that they're good choices as far as hobbies go. But there's some shelving in the middle to show off some different tires, some accessories, whatever it may be. Cool background to those. Looks like ceiling tiles. And then place for 4 bikes with accent lighting.
It's really cool.
This is and here's in the making. So, I mean, I get it. A bike is so to someone that bikes a lot, right? The bike is like the mechanical thing that allows this to be possible. So why not create a shrine to it? I totally get it.
And I think the way they hung them up is really cool. There's one cross pipe on the back of, kind of on the back of where the bike hangs up, and it just kind of supports the seat, and then the handlebars just rest on the top.
Right.
Super simple way to do it, but it looks like it's working great.
Yeah. You'll see these at like bike parks and different things. You can hang the whole bike by the saddle with a cross pipe, and that's a great way to do it. The lights are a great accent.
I think I'm not sure if her name is Judy, but I think she's an artist, so I think she incorporated some art into the build, which is
okay.
Cool.
Nice. And 4 bikes. And what I noticed was these are all very similar bikes. I'm sure they have their own builds and own special, but these are all, I believe, specialized enduro bikes, which are some pretty intense bikes, full suspension, made to go down really rocky, fast stuff.
Nice.
Yeah.
And I think is the handlebars, are they the same height as the seats on all bikes? Is that some kind of rule, or am I just talking out of nowhere?
Yeah. No, it kind of varies by the rider and how they want it set up.
Nice.
And I think this is cool how some are vertical as well. That one's different. That's the cruiser bike for the beach.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. But yeah, some 3/4 inch conduit. And thanks for the shout out, excuse me, on Maker Pipe. And Alex did a pull up on it.
Oh, nice.
And he weighs over 200 pounds. So that means it's pretty solid. That's sweet.
Sweet. Yeah, that's great.
Yeah.
I like the design of using the 180s as well for this. There's bins in the corners. Are those bent, just the ones you can buy pre-bent, or those, I don't know if you can tell in the pictures or not, but.
I'm going to go to, here. No, it looks like, there's a brace midway here. And then that's one piece with just a 90-degree bend on the end.
Nice.
Some 180s here. Yeah, because these are like 2 big hoops.
Pretty much, yeah.
2 rectangles, and then used 180s to kind of segment and then create either feet or braces or a place to hang a bike. So really neat design. Thanks for showing it. Love seeing it. Really like this one. Appreciate you tagging us in it. Okay. Oh, look at that. That's cool. I didn't even notice that one.
Is that like a Longhorn with bike?
I like that. Yeah, a bike saddle with the handlebars. Because people put the the mounted
Mm-hmm.
deer heads,
Mm-hmm.
and rack on the wall. That's the bike
Nice.
version.
That's cool. It's kind of like the what is it? The Tail of the Dragon. They have those. What is it? Is it a robot or is it something at the end that people put all their car parts on that have like fallen off from the Tail of the Dragon?
Oh, I don't know.
I think there's.
Have you been?
Never been, but I've seen pictures. But it's like a robot or some kind of big metal, I don't know, gorilla or something.
Right.
And people put like doors that motorcycle wheels, all different things if they fell off your vehicle. I think it's kind of part of the experience. But anyway, kind of like that.
Yeah. Here we go. I'm curious about this because I haven't ever ridden the Tail of the Dragon. Both Jake and I both like motorcycles. Jake, in fact, just got a new motorcycle this weekend.
Yeah, I'm really excited.
Can you call it new?
It is 50 years old.
Yeah, so it's not really new to you, but it looks awesome.
Yeah, I got a picture of it. See if I can. It's a 1972.
Yeah, I can see it good. That green is sweet.
Yeah, I really like the forest green. It's an all original paint job. 1972 CB350.
It's the original paint?
Original paint.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, everything's original. Somebody just restored it up in Louisville, Kentucky, and drove up there and picked it up over the weekend.
That's great.
Yeah, real excited. But anyway, Tail of the Dragon. I've never been either. We're only like an hour and a half. I think like an hour and a half, maybe 2 hours away.
It's in Deals Gap, North Carolina. Yeah, sounds like we need a trip. But yeah, here's the here's the tree of shame with all the broken parts. Wow.
I don't know where I got robot and gorilla from, but
Yeah, nice. But you don't have to. I mean, there's so much good riding. I mean, you don't have to even get to the Tail of Dragon. Anywhere up there is amazing as far as riding goes. So, all right, the next one we have is a hack, and this is by Richard. Thanks so much for posting this, Richard. This is using ordinary hinges, brass hinges, to create a gate with conduit. And this is one of those things that has been thought about, and one of these problems that needs to be solved that we talk a lot about, right? A lot of people use maker pipe and conduit for enclosures in their gardens or some sort of,
car, different things like that.
Yeah, right. And how do you create a door? How do you make access to it in a good way? And one of the challenges has been the hinge for that door. And this is Richard's take on that, which I think is awesome. So he's got an ordinary brass hinge. You can probably pick these up for, a couple bucks,
Yeah.
a buck, super cheap. And then to help with mounting it on the conduit, because you got a flat surface against a round pipe, took a little bit of aluminum angle and bolted that to give a flat surface and kind of tuned it in. So it says that use some stainless 8 bolts that he already had in hand, and the hinge is bolted to the angle first and foremost, and then the whole assembly is then bolted, and you can see some cross drilled bolts there on that. So you could substitute all kinds of different hinges there. It said the biggest hassle is making sure the 2 pieces of the angle for the hinges are aligned, which I can see that. So you want to control the width of it, but also how far they are apart, I think is probably what he's talking about. But Richard, awesome hack. Thanks so much for showing us, and we love seeing these hacks. It's a great way to build kind of the catalog of ideas in everybody's head. So thanks so much for posting that.
Yeah, I think they could be useful for not posting, useful for attaching all kinds of different flat surfaces, because it kind of gives you that, really flat, solid place to put something else flat if you wanted to attach it. So
right. Yeah, and I think this is a great solution. I wonder too about how effective it would be to just attach it straight to the conduit, right? Because the angle iron is providing that kind of flat surface. But what if you just attach the hinge to the conduit?
We've had people do that in the past. I think if you go to home on the community and then go to gardening agriculture, you should be able to see like a subtopic of enclosures. I think there was a recent one. I'm blanking on the name of who posted it, but I think somebody did that recently, and it worked pretty well. You just need some self drilling screws or self tapping screws.
And this is a great thing to highlight too. Jake went through and kind of cataloged a lot of the past builds, right? So if you go to gardening and agriculture, then you've got these subtopics here. So what do you want to see, right? Enclosures. Here's some, those are latches. There's some more enclosures. There's some doors there.
Yeah, I thought there was one.
What did you think?
I thought there was one recently where somebody did.
Where someone used the
hinge directly bolted into or directly screwed into the conduit.
And you have this one that we've seen, which is kind of like a hinge, but it's more. It has a it's rounded, right? It's not as flat.
It's made for PVC, but it does work well. We mentioned that in Saturday's video.
There's another use of that.
Yeah, it's pretty good solution. I'm not sure. I thought there was one recently, but
okay. Well, but you can definitely see more information on how to do a door, how to do a hinge or enclosure on the community. Just kind of follow that right there.
Nice.
Yeah. All right.
Can you get angle iron in flat pieces or like short pieces like that, or do you just buy kind of like you buy trim? You just buy a long piece and cut it up.
The big box stores and I think some hardware stores too have small pieces. Like you can buy a 2-foot section. You know that section where it's like, all this random metal sticking
like
vertically. Yeah.
All that stuff. Oh, okay.
Yeah. You can get a section like that. That
Nice.
works pretty good. And I think that was aluminum, what he used.
Okay.
All right. Next build we have is Jake posted this, and it is by Jason. Check this out. This is a dartboard holder for the deck. So he created this whole frame that allows you to mount this dartboard and everything right there freestanding, so you don't have to drill it into the wall. Now, there might be a couple reasons for this. Although we didn't hear it, you could not want to drill into the siding, right? That's a possibility. Or could be a condo or something like that where it's against the rules to do that. But boy, like, he's a pretty good dart player. I think Jason's. I was looking at this. I'm like, there's the electronics right next to the dartboard.
Yeah.
Like, who doesn't? I mean, somebody that plays darts must not miss like that.
Yeah, I would be the one that would make the stand to avoid putting holes in the wall, and then I would miss the dartboard completely and put holes in the wall anyway with the darts.
Right. But I guess you could, if you weren't as good as Jason, if you weren't as good as Jason, you could definitely make like a whole surround that kind of protected the wall. But obviously not needed here. Not worried about that. But really cool, kind of a neat finish with the either black wrap, shrink wrap, or painted black connectors, and then it's got a cool finish with the wood exterior. Looks pretty good.
And there you can see he's made it where it was that height. He's got that table about halfway up. I think in the picture before this one.
Whoa.
There's a table about halfway up. So I guess if you're not using it, or maybe he must be really good if he's got glass next to a dartboard.
Yeah.
But yeah, he's got to get the height on it, so he's able to just put that table kind of sitting there. And if you're not playing, you just want this kind of accent piece.
Right.
Have it like that. Looks nice.
Yeah, because it's got the wood finish on it when it's exterior. Nice. I like it. And then as far as the construction goes, it's pretty simple. We've got 4 T's to kind of create this rectangle that the main dartboard sits in. And then down below to support it, simple stand with 2 more T's, some 90 degrees back here, I think it looks like, and then a brace to kind of give it some rigidity with 4 45s. So pretty simple build.
Nice.
Oh, okay. Ron's in the chat. Hey, Ron, how you doing? We've got electronic darts have plastic tips.
Oh, right.
Thanks for that.
Yeah, that shows how much we know about
Electronic darts.
That's cool. Oh, I wonder if that. I wonder if this is one that has the magnetic tips. I think I've seen those before.
Does it I've never had good experience with those.
Oh, I think I might know. I think I've seen.
That's why.
It's like a mesh grill, and then there's a hole in it, and so once the plastic goes through, I think it presses behind the hole in the mesh grill.
I just assumed they were metal tips.
Yeah.
Well, what does it say?
I guess
you
you
read?
could say that's a good tip from Ron.
Thanks, Ron. Appreciate the tip. Well done. Okay. Well, now we know.
Yeah, that's really cool. Don't have to worry about your house definitely with plastic tips.
That makes sense. So much sense. Jason's probably pretty good still. I like to think in my mind that he's really nasty at darts anyway.
Yeah. It reminds me of I saw a video where somebody was had a little too much to drink, but they were playing darts and they threw it and it just like perfectly arced and then hit a water line that was underneath the dartboard.
Oh, gosh.
I don't know if that's the guy's fault or the place's fault for having water lines at a bar underneath the dartboard, but it was like just perfect. It just arced and it just stuck in it, and then it just started squirting water out.
That's Murphy's Law for sure.
Yeah.
That I say faults in the bar, right? You got to imagine you're at a bar playing darts. They're going everywhere.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, Ron said the board has lots of tiny holes and the plastic sticks in the holes.
I want to check this out. What was it?
Electronic dartboard. Yeah, I think, if I remember correctly, I think I've seen something where it's kind of like a mesh front panel and then the back, as it goes through and sticks. But
Oh, yeah. Here's like exactly the same ones.
Oh, nice.
Come on. What? Can't we throw sharpened darts around? Right? Like, why do we have to? I mean,
remember when lawn darts were a thing? They didn't care about safety when they invented those.
yeah, right.
There was a comedian I had a good joke about lawn darts. It's like playing lawn darts outside at night, and I remember it's been a couple of years since I heard the joke, but it's Tim Hawkins' lawn dart joke. But he was just like, "Oh, you throw it to your best friend, and then you just don't hear anything, and it's like pitch black, and you're like, Jimmy." I think lawn darts were banned when I was a kid. By the time I was a kid.
Yeah.
That feels like a pre-2000s toy.
There we go. Yeah, so little like perforations and plastic tips. Okay.
Nice.
Now we know. Thanks, Ron.
Cool.
All right. So let's see here. Too many Daves. One too many. Maybe two. All right. So Jason, we got his. Thank you very much, Jason. And then here we go. The next build we have is by MD, and this one is going to warm your heart a little bit. Check this out. Said Maker Pipe making old dogs run fast again. And I love seeing these assistive things. I mean, this is like the quintessential like problem solution, right? Mm-hmm. And I don't know, you could probably buy one of these, maybe.
They're expensive.
Are they expensive? But it's still like it's not going to fit your dog and all that sort of thing. So here is a little build, not much to it for a little guy, and 2 wheels that helps with the mobility of the dog's rear legs. And check out these videos that they posted as well.
He loves it.
Let's see in the tail wag.
Yeah, the tail wag, and helps with mobility and the rear legs, and replaces it with wheels. And I love the little American flag as well.
I think in the other one there was a sign. Yeah, it has a bumper sticker.
Go.
Oh, look, take off. Oh, the water hose is after
nice.
That's awesome.
Yeah, that's really cool to see.
Right. So that's a great example of a problem that can be solved really effectively and for not a lot of money. I mean, heck, you've got just a couple feet of conduit here, a few connectors, and some wheels, and you've made a real difference in this pup's life. So that's cool to see.
I think it's cool too. I know they said it's an older dog, but I would imagine if you have a younger dog that has some kind of mobility issue, you could build a small one while it's young, and then as it grows, you could continually kind of build up your the wheelchair for it.
Right. Yeah. Adaptable,
Mm-hmm.
and dogs of all sizes. So really cool build. Awesome. I'm so glad, MD, that this helped solve a problem for you and got your dog mobile again, and pretty impressive too. I mean, like, it can move around pretty well in that thing. So thanks so much for posting that.
Nice. Yeah, great build.
I wonder how they did the wheels.
I don't know, because you can't have a straight through axle because the wheel. I mean, that would interfere with the back legs. So it's got to be a
Right. Just on the conduit with a short axle. I wonder if one of these videos kind of.
He loves it.
I mean, it looks like a scooter wheel or maybe a wheelchair.
Oh, okay. Look, like it looks like the back of a bolt there.
Mm,
So maybe cross drilled the conduit. I mean, because there's not much weight there at all,
right.
right? So just cross drill the conduit, put a bolt in, and then have some sort of like stroller wheels that I bet you could pick up, something like that.
So you could do like a vertical pipe and then a T connector at the bottom, and inside the kind of the top part of the T, you could just have a little stub piece of conduit
You could.
and then bolt through it. I
Yeah,
think.
but I think they did it even simpler where they just drilled in the conduit.
Oh.
And for this lightweight, why not?
Because I imagine there's, like you said, very little weight at all. Because it's, as you can see, it's kind of leaning forward. It's tilted down a bit. So, not much weight at all. We had another wheelchair posted, and I think he did the wheels the same way on the other one that was posted a little bit ago. But it was for a little bit of a bigger dog. But it was a great build too.
Yeah. And I'm just going shopping here real quick. It looks kind of like a stroller wheel because you've got the casters, right? That could work, but I think it's got to stay.
Are those $90?
Oh, wow. Yeah, look at these. These are expensive. But this is kind of like the wheel that we've seen a lot of wheeled things use, right?
Mm-hmm.
You have a bearing in the middle. You just put a bolt or an axle in there, and you can pick something like that up. Pretty inexpensive.
And if you're doing something similar, I would definitely get a wheel with the bearing because that eliminates a lot of the things you'd have to build for. Because then once you have the bearing and the wheel, all you have to do is just figure out your attachment method. There's a few different ways to do that.
Right. And you're talking about like built in right there.
Mm-hmm.
So the axle doesn't have to move, just the axle stays stationary and then the wheel moves around it. Cool. Yeah, seems like
It's wheelie cool.
All right. And on that note, thanks everybody for posting to the community and posting your builds. Love seeing them. If you have one or questions that you want answered, go ahead, go to the community connect at makerpipe.com and post it there. We'd love to see it. Or if you'd like to share it with us directly, you can email us, David at Makerpipe. But thanks everybody for tuning in, and we'll see you next week. So long.
See you, everybody.
All right.
Have a good week.
Thanks for the questions, everybody, and stopping by. Let me try this. Oh. Nope. Nope. Here we go.